Hi, guys. Welcome to Heroes Manufactured Live, and we're here for episode 7. And we've got a really cool a guest on board today. It's going to be Phillip Moran, the host of the new Heroes Manufactured live show, as well as he's going to be the co-host on the live show, but also the host of the Heroes Manufactured Creators Unleashed show. So we're going to get right into it today. We're going to ask Phillip some really great questions about the show, what he's been up to as an actor, as a nice influencer now with social media and everything that he's doing. So we're going to get right into it here with Phillip. Hey, Phillip, how's it going?
Hey, it's going great. I want to wish everybody around the world, all the families around the world, Happy Mother's Day.
All right, great. Thanks for coming onto the show today. I appreciate that, and you know what? Happy Mother's Day to your family as well, and to everyone around you. It is that time of year. Unfortunately, we're here during this pandemic and everything, but we want to definitely make it a fun time to at least celebrate with our mothers. So definitely a special Happy Mother's Day to everybody out.
I want to dedicate this to my mother. This first episode, I want to dedicate to my mother.
Yeah, no problem. So actually, that brings us into like a quick discussion here about Phillip. Phillip, you're going to be featured on as a guest, an ongoing guest on the show, and an ongoing host, co-host for Heroes Manufactured Live, and you're going to be doing a lot of the movie reviews and movie commentary. So I mean, that's going to be pretty cool. And what I really love about it is that you're going to bring a certain, Hollywoodism to this. I mean, we're already changing some things in the show here. As you guys can see, we've included the logos now in our background. We want to really brand this as much as possible. And in the next few episodes, you guys are going to see a lot of improvements with the set, with everything that we're doing here. So it's going to be definitely a big part of that. So we'll get right into it, Phillip. If you can tell us a little bit about yourself, how you got into this business, how you got into the acting as well, and the Hollywood scene, but also a little bit about how you got into the whole comic book pop culture scene.
Well, my life is no stranger. It's not stranger than any other actor or artist's life. Did have some hardships growing up, and as a result of that, I had to definitely distance myself to find something to grab onto, something to sort of lead me into my life. My mother was definitely more concerned about me, but I didn't want her to worry. So I sort of played it like nothing was wrong, but in the background, obviously everything was wrong. The way I felt, and my dad and mom divorced at a very young age as well. So that led me into, I sat one day, and Lou Ferrigno, back in the days when I was 10 years old, he did the Incredible Hulk. And I remember reading comic books and watching the film, and that really inspired me to do anything with my body. I mean, because he did so much with his body, and I thought, you know what, this is something I can do. So I started working out at a very young age.
And you interviewed Lou on the show as well, like that.
I did. So that would, definitely I'll talk about that in a bit. But he led me into some sort of philosophy about taking care of my body, and taking care of my body meant taking care of my life. And then I was fortunate to run into a man named Bob Proctor and his people, and I started learning about the law of attraction and positive thinking and all that great stuff, and the power of the mind. And that again helped me to define my life a little more, and to define my life as an actor. I want to become an actor now. I want to had a voice. To speak and to teach and to lead by example. And I did a couple of competitions for my fitness thing, but that wasn't really my passion. My passion was acting. So I studied, and I started with background work like a lot of people do. And then I got into some films. Johnny Mnemonic was the first one. Then, as you know, I did Total Recall. I was tested.
Yeah, and actually, it brings me to some questions that I have for you as well. Like, I mean, tell us a bit about the filming experience. I know here in Toronto, because I've myself been on shows like Resident Evil 2. There's a lot of comic book fantasy-based sci-fi films that are being shot here. You were in Total Recall. I mean, I like to show people also. This is in 2012 a quick image here of Phillip as one of the main security guards. If you guys remember the film,
It was the immigration officer, the immigration officer in the immigration scene with Colin Farrell and Jessica Biel, and it was great.
yeah, great movie, and big sci-fi movie. I remember the '80s version, and I love the fact that they brought this back. So it's definitely great that you were a part of that. And I mean, tell us a little bit about this film here. This is Adam's Testament, correct?
Yeah, that was Adam's Testament. We filmed that in 2015. It was in Cineplex in 2017, screening at TIFF and all kinds of other screenings. And
you were a lead character in this, correct?
I was the lead. Yeah, I was Joseph Gable, Detective Joseph Gable, and I was the movie was about me sort of saving my son through my own sacrifice. In short.
Very cool.
That movie, it won 2 awards, one in the States. It got recognized here in Toronto in the CSA Awards as well. It won the, I think, the Kingdom, the CIFF. That's what it was in Florida.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, so that really sort of gave us a lot of momentum with our production, and for me, it allowed me to talk to a lot of people with credibility now, and then I then I met you, and the rest of history. We did a show together, and it's been great since.
And it's funny because we met at TIFF, like during a TIFF event. I remember we were at the rooftop of like the Thompsons, and we just we clicked. We started figuring out
the law of attraction. See,
there you go, law of attraction, right? Like I guess the secret.
The law of attraction.
It exists whether we like it or not. But yeah, I mean, with that being said, because I mean, there's so many like Hollywood movies being made here in Toronto. I mean, I just watched a movie recently with Bautista from wrestling, and he was in a movie shot just in downtown Riverdale Park. There, there's so many little productions being done here. I was on a movie with Ben Affleck years ago here in Toronto called Hollywoodland. They shot that here. Wow. The X-Men movies were done here. I mean, a lot in the comic book world, but also in general. I mean, there's tons of productions coming here to Canada, coming to Toronto, and a lot of them are in the comic book world. I mean, Scott Pilgrim, huge comic book movie shot here in Toronto, right where it's.
I mean, I've been really researching a lot of the comic book TV and shows, and the cosplayers and the originals, and the Ninja Turtle movie and all that stuff, and I've learned a lot about this culture, this movement from the comic book into films, into
and so
conventions and all the other stuff. So it's had a big influence in the world and obviously in my life.
Of course, and I mean, in that being said, like I guess that'll take me into kind of like the next phase of questions here. Like, how was it for you to be part of the show? Because you were filming the show with us for over a year and a half that we were doing a lot of traveling and all that. So tell us a little bit about that experience from the beginning, kind of to where we are now with releasing it and all that.
Well, I think our first show was the Niagara Falls show. I think that was really, really great show. I found that people were so friendly. I mean, every show is sort of the same on the inside. Everybody's sort of a team player, very supportive. Very happy, and passionate, and loving their craft. And outside of the city is where it all changes. Where you go to San Diego, it's a little different. The people are different. Go to Miami, the people are different. Hamilton, the people are different. And that's all that's different. But inside, the actual shows pretty well are all the same. And it was incredible. Starting Niagara Falls, and then we went into I'm not sure if it was the States or Hamilton. But we traveled across North America, and it was great to see.
It's all a blur now, right? Since we've shot this.
It was great to see these people fall in love with their craft, and the ones that were sort of not being seen, sort of hidden in the craft.
I'm going to show some images here. If you don't
to the forefront, and we sort of exposed their talents, their love for the passion that they had. How they work together well.
And so, Phillip, tell me here with regards to like this image here. I mean, this is down in Miami.
That's in Miami, yeah, Miami.
We were shooting that, and you were at this show. You also met with Trish Stratus, which was one of the main the main I guess celebrities that came out that for that event.
She was great. She was great.
Yeah, and so how was it to like to interview her? And I know you mentioned also you interviewed Mike Rooker from the Guardians of the Galaxy films. That was done in the Niagara Falls scene. But yeah, I mean, how was that to meet all these celebrities that you?
Well, as an actor, I mean, I was meeting other actors, other celebrities, other artists, other stars, and but I wanted to get their view on what the Comic Cons and Fan Expos and all these events meant to them, and how they impacted people's lives, and I could see the passion and the love in their eyes as well for doing this. You know, Kim Coates, a great Canadian, you know, superstar. You know, down to earth, heart to heart, says it, you know, says it like it is. And I really enjoyed talking to him. And it was so easy to talk to people on this sort of playing field because there, you know, there's no big directors, there's no politics, there's no security. Yeah. So we can actually talk man to man. And I felt unequal talking to anybody I talked to. And that was really good that I wasn't too overbearing on other people and vice versa.
And yeah, so one other thing that I noticed, like you met also a lot of influencers outside of just the celebrities. Like this is Holly Wolf. She's a main cosplayer here in Toronto, but she's known internationally as a content creator, cosplayer. I mean, you met also Neil Adams. We interviewed him quite a few times. I mean, you got familiar with Neil, but also his family, right?
Yeah, I want to mention something about cosplayers. You go back. I mean, cosplayers have incredible passion for what they do, and I didn't know how hard they work until I saw a TV show about cosplayers and how they get ready, and how they make their own uniforms, and how they do about 6 shows a year, and it's so and so exciting and suspenseful at the same time. But they make their own uniforms from scratch. Some of them add their own taste to it, their own colors, their own twists. But they're actors, they're entertainers, they're celebrities, they're examples, and you know, cosplaying has become a career. So I you know, I have respect for cosplayers. I didn't back then because I didn't know too much about cosplaying, but now I have a lot of respect for them. And yeah, Neil Adams is a great icon of all time.
I mean, you got to meet his daughter too, correct? Like I remember in Florida.
Neil Adams has like 5 people in his family or something. They're all artists. They all have their own touch to the art, and you know, I learned that through watching the TV shows. So that's why these TV shows, I want to say, are very informative and very educational for a lot of people. If you can't travel, which is the case right now, this gives you at home coverage of all the Comic Cons we went to, what this movement is about, people behind the scenes that don't get a chance to put the work in front of people. This is an incredible TV show. I want to thank you for making me part of this. And also, it's just a great a tool for a lot of people to get on board and maybe make a career out of it as well.
Of course. No, and I appreciate that. I mean, and here's like some more. And this is San Diego Comic-Con. This was like the highlight, I feel like, of what we were doing, because it was one of the big events. That in Florida.
Oh, yeah. That I remember that clearly. I mean, that like the whole city came alive. I remember what I talked to you about Niagara Falls and all, you know. So inside, definitely, there's a lot of networking. Security was at the top of the chain, like a fortress. But inside, people worked together. There was the best of the best. I mean, it was a 50th anniversary. There's so much going on in there, and so big, and so much to do. And also outside, the whole city came alive. Every hotel, every place, every street, restaurant.
And the cool thing I want to mention to people that if you aren't, you know, if you're not going to any conventions this summer, obviously because of COVID, and you're not going to be able to see any of these events, this is definitely going to be a fun way to experience that. Because I mean, we shot at San Diego Comic-Con, we shot all these great events. And I mean, it's the 50th year of San Diego Comic-Con, so I mean, we got to capture that. We got to get some interesting you know, feedback from a lot of the people that have been involved with Comic-Con for years. You know, San Diego being the pinnacle of Comic-Cons. I mean, this
50th anniversary.
Yeah. Sorry?
And it was the 50th anniversary too.
Yeah, 50th anniversary, as I mentioned. I mean, even Fan Expo had 20 years this year. I mean, sorry, 25 years, which was a huge thing for us. Also, I mean, and this is just some images from Fan Expo. I mean, we got to see the cast of Back to the Future there, Michael J. Fox, Christopher Lloyd, and the gang. I mean, Leah Thompson, and yeah, I mean,
Wow.
yeah, this is just amazing. I mean, we got to see a lot of people there. And these are just some of the artists we got to see at Fan Expo. I know Ken Lashley. He's a great Marvel artist. He does the X-Men. You know, a lot of things there. And even going back to like New York Comic Con. This is Mr. Todd McFarlane, a legend in the comic book industry. I mean, he's part of the show. We had like a good 10-minute interview with him.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and it was just it was epic. I mean, getting a guy like him to come out and give you a little bit about the history of comics, his history in comics, and how he sees himself differently in the world of comic books, in comic culture. I mean, this is the creator of Venom. I mean, he's done so much out there. I mean, Spawn, which is soon to be released as another major motion picture, which we're waiting to hear back. I mean, when we spoke to him, he mentioned Jamie Foxx being in the film. I know there's been a lot of talks about Jamie Foxx in this. I actually got like I have family that got to meet him. My family was actually servicing a lot of corporate travel for him, doing private jets. Thing that I know you know a little bit about that with me, but
yeah, well, a little bit, but
yeah. So I mean, it's an interesting business. It's an interesting industry, and just to say the least. I mean, when you're at these conventions, like you really just feel it all, right? You see everything, and
it's incredible. It's alive. It's live. It's people to people contact always. It's and people that are happy, people that are passionate, people that have a love for their craft. They just want to share. They're not there just to sell, but you don't feel that pressure of somebody trying to sell you something. They're really trying to share something, and it's a great emotional time. I enjoy it.
Of course, and I mean, like, look, at the end of the day, I mean, it was an experience because you got to meet artists, you got to meet anyone from the independent artist alley area. You got to meet some of the you got to meet some of the more established artists that have been doing it for like 20, 30 years, who are now at a certain point in their career, and then at the same time, you get to meet the celebrities, the men behind the work, and then you also get to meet these retailers too. I mean, there's so much in the Comic-Con world that, I mean, to me, that's why I think I started with Heroes Manufactured as part of this live show that we're doing now, but also with Creators Unleashed, which you're the host of. Yeah, I mean, it's been quite a ride so far, and I mean, like, where do you see the future of this business and the Hollywood industry? Where do you see things headed? Do you see more comic book movies, less? And I mean, if so, like why?
Definitely see more comic book movies. Since Wonder Woman, I think it was, they start to put more into the movies. These superheroes now, they get to fall in love, they get to feel, they get to bleed, they get to die, they get to make a lead by example. They get to live almost like humans. Even though they're superheroes, we brought them down among the people. And again, the people feel like one with the superhero in these movies. And it's incredible to see that, because when you watch even the cartoon version of it, it's incredible, because even the cartoons, because of this component, they look more real life human as a cartoon than just the cartoons used to see before when you were younger. So like the new what's it called, the Justice League movie, I ended up watching that on my Android box, a preview of it, and it's incredible, because even Superman has an incredible a challenge, and he's not the biggest and strongest guy. So you sort of see the follies of all these different superheroes, because they're not perfect. So nobody is perfect. So and if you think are perfect, nobody's perfect. So don't worry, flaws are what makes us human.
And I mean, that also brings it to I guess how do you see like the portrayal of some of these characters in these comic book movies? As an actor and as a host of this show, like how do you see these actors kind of evolve? I mean, these actors evolve, these characters evolved. I mean, it's obviously entangled and integrated in itself. Like, how do you view that as an actor when you watch a favorite movie or something like that?
Well, as you know, during my studies now of this whole scene, um, comic books were written and they displayed a lot of the what was going on in that time, in that era. And it was amazing to see because people started reading comic books more than newspapers, because the comic books illustrated in pictures and in words what was going on with the wars, with the different pandemics or endemic, any challenges with politics or with
And we're still going through that, right? Like,
yeah,
it's
yeah. So I mean, it's a way for people to keep on top of what's going on in the world through our comic books and through our comic book heroes made into movies. They're making movies about the end of the world, a big triumph, a big challenge, which is what we're going through right now, surprisingly enough. But and if you look at DC and Marvel, they're sort of creating the same thing, the same sort of plots, different characters, but they're all sort of giving the message that we have to take care of the earth, we have to take care of each other, we have to take care of the world, we have to take care of our health. All this stuff is being integrated into these characters, which with the whole fan base all around is a very, very strong support movement. So I think comic books are here to stay. The comic book illustrators and character drawers are the ones that are the talent behind all these creations. The
illustrators, the artists, the creators, essentially.
Absolutely. So we have to thank these artists to come up with these great ideas, and then we have people that take that further and further into a movie, into a book, anything like that. But this is really a great educational tool for a lot of young kids, definitely to stay away from trouble, to stay away from the bad road. But it's you can have a career in this field. You can have a career in a lot of different aspects of the comic book world.
So tell us also, I kind of want to move into another subject here. Tell us what you're going to be doing now on Heroes Manufactured Live. I know you're going to be hosting this with us, co-hosting this as part of the movie kind of review and recommendations section of the Heroes Manufactured shows. So, I mean, we're going to be bringing a lot more guests and co-hosts onto the show, guys. I want everyone to be aware of that. There's going to be a lot more out there. We're actually planning to develop gaming as well. I know Phillip's going to be doing the movie Hollywood kind of moment. We're still trying to work that segment name out. So any suggestions, guys, please feel free to let us know on our Facebook group. We're always checking out suggestions. So if you've got a good name, definitely. But Phillip, if you can tell us a little bit about what your plans are.
Well, my passion's always been about movies and acting. And now we have these comic book characters that are being made into big stars through the movie films. I want to bring back some movies and sort of even the beginning, the part ones, to see how these characters got the superhero powers. But before that, they were human just like anybody else. So I want to relate it to modern world and modern families and the average Joe, that doesn't really know, what to do in his life and if he has talent or not, and sort of make
it relatable, right? Like,
yeah, definitely draw out the imperfections and perfections of within the movie. And sort of have a discussion with different artists, different experts regarding how it's impacting the world. It's impacting the world in a good way, and I'm not going to say in a bad way, but it does give ideas to the world. I mean, we create characters and plots that have not yet happened in the world, and this could be a good thing, and it could be also a bad thing, but with every good thing, there's always a bad side to it anyway, but it's how we take it and what we do with it. So I want to explore the positive sides of it and explore different sides of it, and maybe give people a more insight on how they can view these films and these movies and all these books to read and all these comic books to read when they watch it with their families and their kids on TV. They watch with a different sort of point of view.
And are there any specific comic book movies that like stood out to you as a kid growing up, and even more recently? Are there been certain movies that like inspired you that you can say these are comic book movies? These are specific characters, and even ones that that aren't necessarily comic book movies that just had great characters. Because a lot of the artists that we work with don't necessarily go with the superhero thing. They also like good characters, good story in general. So I mean, what kind of movies inspired you over the years?
Well, for me, like I said, I started with the Incredible Hulk, the comic books, and the actual TV film. And one single idea allowed me to get to where I am right now. Basically, one single idea that I thought to myself, watching the film on TV, I thought, if you can do that with his body, I can do that with anything. And when I met him in Miami, it was incredible. We hugged, we shook hands, we really shared. I met my mentor after 40-something years, and it's
such a nice guy too. I mean, when you meet
exactly. I mean, I love Spider-Man, I love Batman, I love Superman. I used to make a cape. I remember my mother used to cut hair, and I used to take her cape from, she used to cut hair and put the cape in front. I used to put that in the back, right? And I used to be like a Batman or a Superman, more like a Superman. I think Superman was my favorite. Batman was my second favorite, and Spider-Man was my third favorite. But these are the three big characters that I grew up with, and they really had an impact on how I saw the world and how I saw myself. So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I mean, are there any big comic book movies that you're looking forward to in the upcoming year? Are there any new? I mean, do you like the Avengers? Are you big into the Marvel, cinematic universe, all that?
Absolutely. I know Black Widow's coming. I really like Scarlett Johansson. She's very talented, very versatile.
It should have been released already, but it didn't come out yet.
I know.
The whole pandemic, but.
There's the one called Morbius.
Yeah, that's gonna be a nice Spider-Man kind of spin-off. I mean, Morbius was always an interesting character. If you're into vampires and into more of the morbid.
It's different. I think there's
Jared Leto, right? Like he's great too as an actor. I mean,
absolutely.
He's done some amazing stuff. I mean, I was some people you either love or hate the Joker that he did, but I think he's still an amazing actor. I mean, I liked him years ago in Alexander. He did a great role there. He's always pushed the edge, and he's done some work. He's done some amazing work with Matthew McConaughey. So all that, like Dallas Buyers Club, I believe that was what it was called.
Yeah.
Great role, great character, great actor, and definitely having him become Morbius, which is like he's an anti-hero in many ways. I think that could be a very cool movie for all of us just to look forward to.
Yeah, and and watching an actor work is also watching part of themselves being exposed.
Yeah,
if they were to be or lead that kind of life, this is the person they would be. This is how they would be. And it's incredible because you get to know the actor through their movies and through their comic books and through their performances that you can't really learn about them any other way. So it gives you a one-on-one with an actor through their movies. So this is a cool thing about films. That's why films, comic books, all these superhero movies, they're not going away. They're here to stay. And the more they instill the human part of it into the character, the more they make them more human, with ideas, with superpowers, which could be either mind, body, or soul.
Of course.
Or it relates to the common crowd, the human people, and our states of living throughout our lives. So
of course. No, that's perfect. I mean, listen, thank you for coming onto the show today, Philip. I appreciate your time that you've given us today. And we expect to see more. I know that with what we're doing with Heroes Manufactured Live, we're gonna also sometimes do a behind the scenes look on things in the movie business, with a lot of the computer graphics, with all that, because there's so much that we love about these movies.
Absolutely.
And yeah, I mean,
is a lot to sort of see what's out there, and bring all these people to the forefront. They're incredible artists, creating incredible.
They really are. They really are.
Oh, incredible.
And a lot of them are on this show already. I mean, including yourself. And we had some great artists in the last few weeks come onto the show. So I mean, guys, check out our other episodes. Definitely subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is going to be a big thing for us all. We're also planning to be on Twitch soon, many other streaming services. So there's going to be really, we're pushing this out there as much as possible. With the show right now, it's lined up for Amazon Prime. So I know that we're looking at that towards the beginning of July. Phillip is going to be the host of that show. So that's definitely check that out. And yeah, this is kind of our way to plug in the show with Phillip on board, but just to also let people know. I mean, as much as we're plugging in the show, it's really about the artists that we're showcasing in this show. I mean, we've got every episode's got at least 10 or 15 different artists that we're featuring, and you're interviewing a lot of them, and we've met with a lot of them. It's just amazing to see that. So definitely going to be a lot of promotion out there, guys. Check it out. Thanks again, Phillip, for coming onto the show.
There's a lot. I just want to add. I mean, there's a lot of value in our shows. We have big experts that have 20 plus years in this industry, in the editing, in the narration, in the illustration, in the filming of it. I mean, this is something that we could all learn, especially if we're in the industry or any kind of creative industry. During this time of this pandemic, we can also use this as an educational tool, and maybe connect to people that are, someone that we'd like to work with in the future, or maybe.
For sure. And I mean, a lot of us are artists. A lot of us are artists outside of this, like myself. I mean, I do some illustration. I like to do cover work, for example, getting into the yeah. And I mean, you yourself, you've been acting for years, and this is definitely a labor of love, a passion that we have, but definitely something for you guys to check out. So again, thank you, Phillip. I appreciate you coming onto the show today. And yeah, guys. So we're gonna be doing our next segment here for the comic vault. So we're just gonna get that up and ready here, and we're gonna get right into a couple of really cool things today. So we're going to do our Comic Vault first segment. So this is a book. I haven't actually read this yet, but I hear some amazing thing. It's called Ab Irato. A great book I picked up actually in Milton, Ontario. I was there during a week or two, and during my lunch, I went and saw a really cool store there called The Dragon. So this is a book. I mean, I'm just going to read the back here for you. In a dystopian world of mounting sea levels and growing economic inequality, those who can afford it have access to a rejuvenating vaccine that can allow lifespans of hundreds of years, a vaccine controlled by what has become the wealthiest biopharmaceutical company in the world, the Jovex Corporation. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. A young man named Real arrives in the urban metropolis of Montreal. So it's very Canadian, guys, for any of those Canadian artists that want to check out some cool Canadian work. Seeking a better life, and meets a young woman, Neve, I believe that's how it's pronounced. Even as a rebel insurgent sees parts of the city, and a mysterious assassin stalks the corridors of the corporate power. So I just gave you a little snippet there. This is just some of the artwork I like to show people. It's definitely got the dystopian, futuristic element to it. Sorry, that was probably the same page there, but let me show you some other. Oh, that was the same page. But there you go. Some really cool artwork there that you guys have. Very, very cool artwork overall. Looks like an interesting read. I mean, if you look here, for example, they go into Venice, Italy, so it's not all just in Montreal. Down here, sorry, down there, see a little bit. But definitely some really cool stuff, especially during the pandemic right now. If you're looking for a really cool book to read, definitely check that out. We're going to do also our toy and collectibles segment here. I want you guys to check out a really cool pop type figure. They're called head knockers. I'm sure you guys have seen these before. So this one's a really cool one. I picked this up a while ago. We're talking less than $30 for a little mini Groot. So if you love Baby Groot and what he stands for in the Avengers world, this thing is lifelike. It looks incredible. We're gonna open this up right now. This one isn't necessarily limited, but it is made by NECA. So if any of you guys seen, NECA is a great company. They do these head knockers, super realistic. Believe it's hand painted, as you can see, collector's quality resin, and an affordable price. It really was an affordable price. So I picked this up, guys, at the it was the EB Games a while back. We're gonna check this out right now, and yeah. So let's take a look here, and we're gonna open this little baby Groot up. There you go. So look at that, guys. He's still got his. Oh, wow. Lift that off. There is baby Groot himself with what looks to be like an iPhone for you guys. Is actually a nice little tablet of some sorts. But that looks super real. Baby Groot. I mean, look at that, guys. That looks incredible. And then what's really cool is that the base has the Avengers logo right on it, which is awesome. And yeah, I mean, this thing was less than $30. Baby Groot. Absolutely love this. If you guys can pick this up, it's a great buy. Definitely worthwhile at EB Games, Electronic Boutique, GameStop, whatever you want to call it. They should have it in the US, I suppose, more so than anything. But yeah, guys, thank you for all coming to the show today. I appreciate it, and thanks for checking out Phillip Moran. Great actor, great host. He's going to be a co-host here on the Heroes Manufactured live show and the host of the Heroes Manufactured Creators Unleashed show, which is coming this July on Amazon Prime. Check it out, guys. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. It's going to be a lot more to see in the next few weeks. We do have coming up one quick announcement I want to make. We're going to be showcasing the original Heroes Manufactured film from back in 2016. In the next couple of weeks, it's going to be on YouTube. We're going to be showcasing that with a forward or more of a behind-the-scenes video where we're going to include a reunion of all the main interviewees, the main poster boys and poster girls that are on it, and yeah, we're gonna have them talk a little bit about how it's been since the show, since the movie, and what they're up to now, what we're gonna be doing with the show that's coming up soon as well. So thanks again, guys, for coming onto the show and checking us out. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and talk to you soon.